Lord Mahavir was born roughly around 599 BC. He was born in a royal family of Kshatriya Kund, a part of the Republic of Vaishali. His father was King Siddhartha and his mother was Queen Trishula. It is said that when the queen conceived Lord Mahavir, she had 14 auspicious dreams that were a premonition of the greatness of the child that was to be born. The prosperity of the king grew day by day. The king attributed his success to his newborn child and named him Vardhamana, which means ever increasing. The birth of a person in this world is a common event. A number of people are born unnoticed on this earth every day, but Mahavir's birth was marked by an uncanny element. While still growing in his mother's womb, Mahavir was endowed with clairvoyance, avadhijayan. An ordinary man is born with indirect knowledge, paraksh, but Mahavir was born with direct knowledge, pratyaksh, as if he had experienced everything already. This was an extraordinary thing about his birth. When he grew up, he was sent to a local school, but on the very first day his teacher noticed his transcendental wisdom and declared that he didn't require any schooling. After Mahavir's birth, his family began to grow prosperous. Impressed by this phenomenon, his parents gave him the name of Vardhaman. Since he was clairvoyant, he came to be known as Saman. Realizing his power of tolerance during spiritual practice, he was named as Mahavir by a class of gods. Two saints, Vijay and Sanjay, came. They saw Mahavir and a mere glimpse of his personality dispelled all their doubts. A number of names were given and amid them lay hidden a nameless personality. At 7, when Vardhaman was playing with friends, an evil demigod took the form of a cobra and tried to frighten the kids. Brave Vardhaman boldly grabbed the snake and flung it far away. On another occasion, the demigod joined the children in the disguise of a child. According to the rules of the game, Vardhaman had a chance to ride on the child's back. As Vardhaman climbed onto his back, the child transferred himself into a demon. Vardhaman controlled him with his mighty fists. The demon appeared in his true form and praised Vardhaman for his bravery and called him Mahavir, meaning very brave. Though Mahavir was born with worldly comforts and luxuries, they never attracted him. He lived a simple life. When his parents died, he decided to become a monk. He asked for his brother's permission. His brother was still mourning for the loss of their parents. He therefore requested Mahavir to wait for a couple of years before leaving. Mahavir waited for 2 years, during which he led a totally detached life. After realizing this, his brother gave him permission to become a monk. Mahavir was 30 years old when he gave up his worldly life and all worldly activities. He spent of his time in austerity and meditation. He learned to survive on small amounts of food and reduced his physical needs. He had no anger, pride or desires. He practiced nonviolence, truth and celibacy. He did not take anything, including food and water, unless it was offered to him. With his initiation into a new way of life, the vigorous practice of Samya Yoga, Yoga of Equanimity, began and continued for 12 years. During this period he went through a number of ordeals which he successfully encountered. His name Mahavir, or Great Spiritual Warrior, proved true to its meaning. If a coward had come across these ordeals, he would have hardly encountered even one of them. Equanimity, samta, and nonviolence, ahimsa, require tremendous bravery. We know Mahavir as a pioneer of ahimsa. He is not yet widely known as a pioneer of fearlessness, abhaya. He had the firm belief that a person afflicted with fear cannot promote ahimsa. This principle became an integral part of his way of life. For this reason he remained alone during the whole span of his penance, spiritual practice. He wandered alone in the jungles, rivers, valleys, hills, caves and empty houses day and night. Fear did not touch him at all. Fearlessness added luster to his spiritual practice. Once, he stayed in the temple of Sulpani-Yaksha. The priest warned him against the danger at night and asked him not to stay there, for no one survived till the dawn. Even the villagers dissuaded him, but he remained firm and adamant. He did stay in the temple of the Yaksha despite warnings and advice to the contrary, and survived. Lord Mahavir was going to a hermitage when the cowherd said, "Oh, mendicant! Do not go further. There is a snake called Chankashik at a little distance. The serpent can burn a man to ashes by casting a mere look at him." Ignoring the advice, Mahavir continued his march. Fear of death and suffering was perhaps unknown to him. He approached the serpent's hole and stood there in a state of meditative posture. Chankashik must have said to himself, "What kind of a man is this? He is coming to me to embrace death." His defiance infuriated him. The serpent first looked at the sun and then looked at Mahavir. The waves of venom from the venomous look spread far and wide, but Mahavir stood motionless in a meditative pose. Now, the serpent was beside itself with the fire of